but I think I'll give it a shot. Let's just see how the commentary goes. Okay, so let's try again. New game. Yes. So I'm gonna commentate this mostly as if I was at GDQ. Just kidding. Well, I'll just continue. I skipped the cutscene a little late there, but it's okay. Costs 12 seconds. So this is Unmechanical. You play as this little blue robot. He doesn't have a name, but he's pretty cute anyway. The game, I kind of enjoy it because it's relaxing. It's just a puzzle game, and a very pure physics-based puzzle game. There are no enemies to fight. There's no combat. You can't die. There are bombs later, but they can't kill you. They just blow up some other objects for puzzle reasons. And for that reason, the speed strats tend to be just about solving those puzzles as quickly as possible. And what's interesting is that because of the physics-based nature of the game, the tech largely comes down to just moving your character efficiently to throw objects where you need to kind of swing beams at the correct angle, that kind of thing, and not waste time. And obviously, just in a basic sense for any speedrun, as I'm moving around, I'm going to try to not bonk on walls. So like here's an example of a puzzle. I have to pull this rock up here, but the rock is heavy, probably heavier than my little robot. So I kind of had to swing it around. And that principle will remain true, trying to swing things. Right here, there's a little ball that has to get down into a hole because it's the only radius that's thin enough to fit down there. So I'll do that, and down it goes. You'll also see the first example of RNG in the run, which is this Simon Says section, excuse me, coming up. There are 4 lights with different colors and different notes, like musical notes associated with them. So let me focus for a second. This is RNG. It's going to be 3 and then 4 and then 5, and those constitute the entire puzzle. Up again. Anytime you get 2 or more in a row is really good. Also, for anyone curious, I'm actually not memorizing this with numbers. I'm doing it with the musical notes. It's easier for me. That's up to this, and then 2 of these. And you can probably already see, just from my movement, it's not as trivial as it looks to do all of this quickly. Like, it isn't complicated. You just kind of have to try to not waste time. Here we see the introduction of the first of these glowing orbs. These are power sources, and that idea of a power source kind of underscores the entire game. This game doesn't really have a story so much, but it does have an atmosphere, the atmosphere being this underground lair kind of thing, which I think is meant to be like the power source underbelly of the world. Oh man, this is being really slow right now. I need that other one to get off, and it isn't. Okay, that's fine. Okay, get off. Good. You can probably start to see what I mean with the physics RNG. Like, RNG is the wrong word. These physics aren't random, it's just... It's almost like the butterfly effect. You make a tiny change with your movement, and it can pretty drastically change how these objects move around, which can just waste little bits of time. Like a task would just, you know, grab the things and just drop them exactly where they need to be, and they won't bounce and such. I should also mention, before we really get into the meat of this speedrun, that I'm running Glitchless, which is exactly what it sounds like. There are not many glitches for this game, but there are a non-zero number, and so I'm going to be not using any of them. A minor bit of tech, although you can't really see it. I'm going to be holding a direction. Oops, I went too far. You can hold a direction as the screen is fading from black, rather than waiting until your character is fully visible. Yeah, so here's where things, they get a little spooky. The game isn't spooky, but it kind of looks that way for a sec. And you're going to see the central chamber, kind of a hub in the game that I'll be coming back to over and over again with this gigantic beating heart, which, again, presumably is a power source. And with this, you can kind of see the objective. Even though the game hasn't explicitly told me, there are these 4 receiving hands, and I have to get a little orb to all of them. This is a weight-based puzzle. Whoops. Very easy solution. Although, of course, casually, you would have to think about it a little more. And up we go. I mentioned before that this game is relaxing, and there are a lot of puzzle games out there, but like Limbo is a puzzle game that can also get really kind of violent and dark. You know, this game is really just lighthearted. The speedrun is only 30-ish minutes. You can sit down and beat the game and get all achievements within probably a few hours if you want. Which some people would see as bad. I view it as a... Especially with the release of WoW Classic. It's kind of nice to have games that don't have to consume everything. Also, here's our first little bit of... Oh my goodness, there we go. That was physics RNG. It was unlucky that the panel blocked the door, so I had to take a few seconds to move it. Coming up next, though, well, I have to hold this switch until the door clicks open, or else it'll slam shut on me. Coming up next is a new category of puzzle, which is lasers. They aren't used very frequently, but there are laser and mirror-based puzzles. So you're meant to rotate a bunch of these mirrors coming up. Of course, I just know what to do in advance. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 5 down over here. It's going to reflect off an underwater mirror. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you see that bar on the left? That's going to start charging up. And the moment it does, I move the mirror to let the laser through because I'm going to be reusing it for another puzzle. Here you can see me coming back to the central chamber, which also kind of reinforces that this game is... Open world is too strong a term, but it's seamless. Like, there are a few loading zones, but the world mostly fits together in a logical way. And there's very little downtime. Like, I maintain control of my character at almost all times. I do enjoy that about the run. Next up is another bit of a puzzle. I'm going to be taking a handful of objects and dropping them in a pool of water to raise the water level. You can't see the pool of water yet, but you'll see it soon. So what I'm going to do is just as efficiently as my tiny little robot magnetism beam can handle, I'm going to just try to throw these things because the water's down and to my right. You can also start to see I'm kind of holding left for a second. Alright, messed up a little bit there. But I'm trying to just control my movement such that I can go, you know, as fast as I can. So with this, we do some kind of alley-oop action to get everything into the water. There's no strength to my tractor beam or anything, by the way. It's just either on or off. But wherever I grab the object, it does kind of remain, you know, it holds it at a consistent spot. So there it goes. Back to the left, there it goes. Oh, and those green gates, they don't affect me, but I can't carry objects through them. It's a way to not allow you to, like, carry a box from an earlier section and solve a puzzle in an unintended way. More mirrors here. These ones are kind of gyroscopically stable, and I have to redirect them. That's a little bit high. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and fix that right now by nudging it just a ton. Okay, way too much to the left, apparently. There we go. That's better. Oh my god. This is, the physics are really not behaving with me here. I didn't want that thing to bounce as far as it did. Come on. Are you kidding me? This is what I mean where you can gain or lose pretty substantial amounts of time just based on, like, the exact locations where you drop your items. So you remember that laser from earlier? Well, now we get one from both sides, see? And I can use the same mirror to reflect one laser up and the other one down, and it'll start to fill up that bar down there, which will release orb number 2. Recall that there are 4 orbs that I have to fill in. This is number 2. I'm just gonna not look at my timer, it makes me sad. The game is linear as well, so you can see that putting in orb number 2 opened up this path directly to my left, which was otherwise unavailable. As before, I'm going to start holding left before the fade to black ends so that I can start moving. And this is the longest signal segment of the run, and it involves these bombs, which I think is clever. These bombs, like I said, they don't hurt me, but they do hurt these little fleshy pods. I can't make the bomb explode any faster, I just have to wait. And then when it explodes, it'll activate this. It's like a switch. See that little squishy blood effect? And the gate opens. Now, what's complicated here, you can't see it yet, but there's a furnace off to my right. That furnace requires 6 kind of special pieces of rock to be thrown in it to power up a puzzle. And those 6 pieces of rock, there's 4 in this main room and then 2 in another area. And I'm going to be trying to move around as efficiently as I can to try to kind of multitask. In effect, while the bombs are blowing up, because I can't make them any faster, I'm gonna swing around the arena and get some things done. So I just blew up one rock. I'm going to go back up top and get another bomb. You can kind of see the two sitting next to each other now. While that one's exploding, I'll go ahead and take this into the furnace. Now I'm going to wait for that to explode, and the moment it does spawn another bomb. I can only have one active at a time, if that wasn't obvious. That rock just got blown to the bottom off screen. I'm going to carry a bomb down with me. Put it right there. Don't... This is physics RNG. Like, that wasted time for it to fall all the way down there. So unfortunately, that was a few seconds of time loss. Again, physics RNG isn't exactly the right term, but it's just... It's the butterfly effect. My bomb was in the slightly wrong position, and it resulted in time loss. Rather than bringing this one directly to the furnace, I'm going to save time by dropping it next to his little friend, another rock. And this one's a bit of a timing challenge. We're going to grab a bomb, drop it right next to here, like so. Then, while it's still ticking down, put this one in the furnace, and catch it before it explodes, so that I don't have to waste time going to retrieve it. So that's all four in the main chamber. I'm going to now head down to do another puzzle section. The two other rocks are locked behind a gate, and the gate is accessed via this area. I start by jamming these gears with the pipe. Whoops, I messed up my movement a little bit. There we go. While it's blowing up, I'm going to move this and open this. This is just a simple little puzzle. I have to take the same metal beam that I used to jam the gears, and I have to use it to jam this little sliding door, like so. See how it's going to try to slide down and get blocked, allowing me to safely pass underneath. And this next section, in my opinion, is the most difficult physics section of the game. Watch how I'm going to move to try to manipulate these things. I start by grabbing the beam, and I'm going to intentionally bonk the beam on this to make sure that I can drop it in there roughly like that. That wasn't perfect, but it'll work. Which brings us to another bomb section with 5 smaller flush stacks. This bomb explodes significantly more quickly than the others. And if you look to the right, you can see that there's 5 gates. Each one of them opens and then starts to very slowly close again. So the challenge here in the puzzle is to figure out... it's not an ordering that you have to blow all these up in, but you have to blow up all 5 fast enough that you can get through. Like so, and then pulling that switch permanently raises the barricades. With that, I have to flip that switch, so I need my metal beam from earlier. So I use the metal beam to press a button, right? Well, I'm going to replace that weight with this. Down you go. Where I pick up this beam is very important, by the way. Like, I didn't want to grab it at the far end, because it, just based on how physics works, it would make it difficult. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this. Okay, that wasn't a very good bounce. Ideally, that will actually bounce and get stuck right about like that, so that I can take the beam and push the lever. Something to practice, I suppose. And with this, I'm back to the earlier section where I can get more bombs. Right here, there's a rock on the top and the bottom. Unfortunately, although it kind of looks dull, I have no choice but to sit here and hold the bomb myself. That's the only way to have it explode close enough to loosen up the rock. Generally speaking, in this section, it took some time to optimize. It was partially my work and partially the work of the current world record holder. You know, it's a non-trivial thing to optimize, because you're limited by the explosion time of the bombs. So as much as possible, you just try to do other things while the bombs are exploding. One more, and it's back over here. If you're lucky, the bomb can kind of explode and shoot the rock where I'm at right about now and save you time, but no such luck. So yeah, this is powering up something, right? Like, why have I been doing all this work with the furnace? Well, I'll show you. Well, not yet, I won't show you, but soon I'll show you. You already saw this machine once. I have to put fire and water, like a fiery boulder and this water container, in 2 times to lower the water level, since currently my little robot cannot go underwater. If I was at GDQ, this is where I would start bringing up time for donations, because this section there's really not much going on. And in a second, I'm just going to have to wait like 20 seconds without doing anything at all. You can see that this orb is similar to the others, but it's pretty clearly depleted. Its little light source is significantly smaller, so we put it in there, replace it with a fresh one, take the fresh one, put it back in the orb receptacle, like so, and now we wait. This thing has to power back on before I can go through this gate, and there's nothing I can do to make it any faster, so again, at GDQ, this would be a time for donations. Probably. Playtard, I'll answer that question later, I think. Because coming up next, my next play is called Submarine. Just a moment ago, I had to lower the water level, right? Because my character can't go underwater. That's about to change. I'm about to get my first upgrade. This game isn't really a Metroidvania, but it has, like, kind of very primitive Metroidvania aspects. The animation is hidden behind these opaque pieces of metal. But now you can see I have a third eye on top, and I have a little scuba tank on my back, and we can go underwater. My movement is the same because, of course, I'm not affected by gravity with my little helicopter appendage. But yeah, this just allows me to access to new areas. And now you're finally going to see the results of that furnace work. There's this puzzle here where there's an orb, and I have to kind of activate this thing with gravity to get it through here. This second one would not have been active without powering up the furnace first. That's why I did it. Good. That's not that easy, actually. If I touched any of those little white glowing spikes, it would zap the orb and send it back. As a general rule with a lot of these orbs, I try to kind of give the orb some momentum and then use my body to send it back through. And that's about this entire section. Like I said, this is the longest single split in the game. Longest single section in the game. And so I'm just going to leave. I'm going to leave out the way I came, but this time I have an orb for my trouble. Orb number 3 out of 4 from the original chamber. Up it goes, and away I go. This time I'm going to start moving and hold down my grapple to grab that thing early, and then I'm going to try to kind of swing around. So this is the first part of the game that casually requires some thought, because it doesn't immediately tell you where to go. But the trick is that I have my submarine appendage. And this is what I mean where the world is seamless and it has like just the tiniest bit of influence from Metroidvania titles. I have to remember this water puzzle from before. Remember the one I had to drop weights into to raise the water level to complete a circuit? Well, I'm going to go here again. And even better, the game not only reuses this section, it reuses the objects you dropped in the water. So I'm going to take one of them with me. It doesn't matter which one, but I'll just take the orb, or the cube. So because there's a button coming up underwater, I need to leave something on that button so that I can, you know, go through a door and continue on my journey. I still only have 3 out of 4 of those white glowing energy orbs in the central area, so I still have to get number 4. So we're just going to kind of take a moment and drop that there safely, and away we go. Sometimes you can drop the object and have it roll onto the button, but it's difficult to do that correctly with the physics. Yeah, so this section gets kind of weird. We go into what I can only assume is the corpse of some giant worm, like in Episode 5 of Star Wars. I don't really know the lore. Like I said, this game doesn't really have a story so much as an atmosphere. So here's the same bombs. The bombs you should be familiar with. I'm going to intentionally wait to grab it, because when lasers hit bombs, the bomb blows up. So I have to wait, and I'm going to short-circuit this puzzle a little bit by having the laser come and hit this and blow it up early. Which means that my limiting time factor there, my bottleneck, was the laser cycled, not the bomb. And this one is kind of an inversion of that puzzle. I'd like to not blow up the bomb early. So I'm going to drop it in here and then use my little tiny robot frame to block those, and there it goes. The puzzles really just kind of fly by. Thankfully, a lot of them are kind of obvious. This one kind of is more like a mobile game. You have to have none of, in all these panels, kind of butchered that sentence, you can't have any 2 colors that match. So I just kind of memorized what to do. There's no RNG in this puzzle, thankfully, or else it would be pretty rough. And with that, we get the last orb. This section, like I said, is significantly shorter than the last one. This brings back to the central chamber. Put number 4 in, and when I put not all 4 in, something's going to happen. You can see that they've kind of already been changed in their power levels a little bit based on the order I put them in, because they've been powering this art the whole time. So what I have to do is take these and have them activate the robots around the outside. It's kind of tough to see because they're just barely off screen, but... Whoops. I activated all those robots, and as a result they open this. So for the first chunk of the game, I'd say that's maybe 2/3 of the game, and you can see that by about 20 out of roughly a 30-minute run. Your objective is to get those 4 glowing power sources and put them into the chamber, right? Well, now I'm doing something else. You get to see a little more of the world, although the puzzles are going to be similar. And I'm going to kind of quiet down and focus. This is a sound-based puzzle. There are 2 speakers, and the first one is always the same. So you'll see it looks something like this. I have to match the buttons to the sound. It's either up, down, or both. Whoops. And this is RNG. The first one is consistent, the other ones are not. So I'm going to try a new strategy here. 1. 1, 3, 1. I think it's duh. I'm going to verify this before I actually try it, because I don't want to mess this up. So I'm losing time here, but I don't want to lose more. Yeah, that's correct. And I can't go over to the door too fast, or there's a small bug where it doesn't finish the cycle. So yeah, I lost a bit of time there, but it's just... The first 2 puzzles have only 4 notes, and the last one has 8, so it's a little trickier to memorize. As before, kind of give it some momentum. Ah, missed it. That's rough. There we go. Back through the pipes. Whenever I'm in pipes, of course, I'm just trying to not bonk on anything. Here we go. So here's a power-based puzzle. I have to activate these light bulbs. Each light bulb draws power, and I have to reach that threshold. But this, like many puzzles, some puzzles have RNG, this one has none. So I'm going to undo both of these so that they stop sapping power. And I just have to pull all 4 of these light bulbs. And I will solve the puzzle. Hard puzzle. There's also another character. So far we've spent the majority of the run staring at this cute little guy, right? But there is another character that you would have seen if you paid close attention, the janitor. His body's kind of broken up. He's clearly, you know, rusted and is a little bit old. And presumably his role, given his appearance, is to kind of maintain the facility. 2, 4, 1, 5, 3. 2, 4, 1, 5, 3. So I have to do that in the right order. 2, 4, 1... 2. I'm just going to focus here so I get this right. 2, 4, 1, 5, 3 is the last one. 2, 4, 1, 5 is right here. And then 4 is the second one. What you're supposed to do to solve this is kind of do some math as you add more and more cubes, but you don't actually have to do that. And away you go. That is surprisingly easy to mess up, by the way. Okay, finally a bit of a break from puzzles. The music starts to pick up. The camera zooms out a little bit. You get to start seeing more of the underbelly of this world that you're in. And you start to learn that that giant heart that you powered up, and the power sources that you've been using, it's only one of many. Trapdoor opens rather than the main door, and down you go. This section is more or less an auto-scroller, assuming you don't miss your movements. My character has quite a bit of movements acceleration, so you just have to be careful that you don't go too early and bonk on something. But otherwise, you can't make that go any faster. I think it's always on the same cycle. Slow that one down. Go. So yeah, the run is kind of quickly approaching the end. I mean, I still have a little bit more to go, including this elevator. This would be another really good donation time at the actual event, assuming I could get the game in. This elevator is incredibly, like, ludicrously long. I don't know why. There's nothing to do on it, but you can kind of scrub the floor a little bit, so that's, I guess, entertainment. Kind of roll around like you're a dog toy or something. What's interesting is the elevator isn't even going to really take me anywhere directly. Like, I'm not going to be exiting out the door of the elevator. I'm just going to be going through a little gap up here on the right. But yeah, it's a long elevator ride. The puzzles at this point kind of start to get a little bit slower, and I spend more time just moving through these areas that are a little bit larger. Right here, the puzzle is that I just have to find a little hidden switch. I use the term hidden in quotes, even though I don't have a camera on. Pull this. It doesn't matter that I missed it. I'm on an auto-scroller here, because this happens, and you can't make it through any faster. And then you go through. To my knowledge, you cannot beat that cycle. A little bit more physics RNG as I try to not lose time bonking on all these little orbs. This shot's really, really cool, by the way. You can see that inside the rocks there's kind of fleshy bits. I think the implication is that the heart that you powered up earlier, like I said, is one of many. And those are, I don't know, the interface into them or something like that. And now you're inside one. Remember that janitor character, we're going to be seeing him real soon. Up here you flip a switch, but as before, it doesn't open the door, or it only opens it part way. And then these flashing lights clue you into your next objective, which is going through this incredibly thin pipe. And then I have to unplug the world. Or unplug this heart, I guess. In doing so, the janitor is going to panic. This is a cutscene. I have control, but I can't make it go any faster. I'm going to sit in a particular spot until this happens. So right now, I don't have control of my character. The physics and the wind are just blowing me through. But where I sat made it so that I got into the pipe a little bit faster. I didn't get blown away by the initial explosion. And here, kind of in the same Metroidvania theme, this is the starting area. My character spawned just to the right. That's where the robot woke up. But now I have the ability to go underwater, and I can go all the way up to the top. I could have come up here at the beginning of the game too, of course, but the camera wouldn't have recognized me. And with that, we go through. Harder than it looks to not bonk in all of these pipes. But this is also kind of a really scenic section. Check this out. That's what I mean where this whole underground facility is powering that city. At least I think that's the implication. It's never explicitly stated. With this, the game is almost over. I unplugged everything. I think I just have to, like, repair it or something. So I'm going to take this battery because that's how you repair a gigantic, like, building-sized heart machine is with a simple AA battery. I guess it's more like a D battery, but... yeah, I have to take the battery over here and replace the old one. Unfortunately, the old one, as you'll see in a second, is stuck underneath some rather heavy metal platforms. So I'm just going to kind of drop this here, make sure it stops and doesn't go too far. Grab this. I'm moving in such a way that I can get these off quicker. That's the old one. You can see it's red, which means it's bad. And now I'm going to intentionally grab this from kind of the left side so that I can do... this is kind of tricky. Oh, come on. I messed that up. This is pretty bad. It's because I grabbed it at a bad spot. Oh my goodness. There we go. Okay, so that was really slow. I picked up the battery too close to its center, and as a result, I couldn't swing it into place fast enough. Unfortunate time loss. I would have been pretty close to PB instead. I'm going to lose additional time. But here we are back in the unplugged area, but the janitor's corpse is here now. He can spawn in one of two places. He spawned in the bad place, So the connection between my tractor beam and him is long. So you can see that I'm like really getting stuck here. That's just RNG. If he spawns in a better spot, then it's easier to transport his body. The reason I'm transporting his body is that I have to drop him into a furnace. Don't really ask me why, I don't know, but that's what I have to do. I'm going to drop him into a furnace to take his place as the janitor. This game actually has 2 endings, by the way. But this is the faster one. I think in the other one you can repair him or something, I don't really remember. So we pull this up, and that's time. This machine probably looks similar. It's the same kind of contraption that gave me the submarine power-up. Except that this time, after the credits roll, it's a very kind of soft-spoken ending. You know, there's not a big fanfare of music or anything. You're just stuck in this chamber. Something mysterious is happening to you as the credits roll by. Pretty short credit list because it is an indie game. There's even credits to sound samples on freesound.org with everyone's kind of random usernames there. And when the credits are done, which will be just a moment, you'll get to see what this machine is doing to me. Before, it gave me a submarine power-up. Now it's doing something different. So we just put a janitor into the furnace after he blew up. Well, thankfully the facility will be safe because we have taken his place as the janitor. My little dangly appendages have gotten longer and I have a wrench attached. And the screen slowly fades to black, and that's Unmechanical Glitchless.